unfortunately, it wasn't to be here. Jamie Hacking rides 37 years of age, and a nice little bonus for him to be able to ride the MotoGP bike here at Laguna Seca. And Ant West rounds up the grid, but he's suffering with a bit of a back injury as well. Of course, he had a brilliant result here in 2007 when it was one of his first rides on the bike, and finished, if I'm not mistaken, in 7th position in that race. Rode really, really well here last year. Back to the front though, Casey Stoner, focused, 32 laps ahead of him. Brilliant scenes here at the Laguna Seca circuit, Central Californian coast as well. All packed in, trying to catch a glimpse of Tom Cruise at the moment. He'll enjoy that, stood on pit wall. It's one of the closest places you can get as well to the grid. The pit wall's really, really low down. You almost stood on top of the guys who are in 3rd and 6th position on the grid as well. So hope they've got their earplugs in. I think I can see a couple in there.
He's going to need it.
It's going to be a bit of a shock, maybe.
I hope he didn't bring the kids as well.
It certainly would get a rude awakening. So this is our front row of the grid. Nicky Hayden, race winner here in 2005 and 2006. On the outside of the front row, what can he do on the Michelins? He said he only had 2 of those tyres. One of them was for the race, the one he's going to use. And just on the front row, alongside him, Valentino Rossi and Casey Stoner, who finally gets on board his bike as they start it up. Talks about tyres here this weekend. Front 2, Stoner and Rossi are going to be the ones battling it out in the championship. Rossi leads Stoner by 20 points. Will that be all changed today by the end of this one? Just a couple of minutes remaining now before the start of the MotoGP event here then. Fabulous scenes as we look down on the Laguna Seca circuit.
A lot of...
So MotoGP about to get underway here at Laguna Seca in California, here for the US Grand Prix. Here's how the starting grid lines up. Stoner on pole, Rossi in 2nd position, Nicky Hayden in 3rd spot. On row 2, Jorge Lorenzo, James Toseland and Randy DePunier. Colin Edwards heads up row 3, then alongside him, watch out for Chris Vermeulen in this one. He's a Laguna Seca expert. And Andrea Dovizioso just on the outside there. Tony Elias, Loris Capirossi, and another man maybe to watch out for, Shinya Nakano. Ben Spies knows his way around this track. He heads up row 5. And Alex De Angelis, Jamie Hacking and Ant West bringing up the rear of the grid. So Chaz, prediction time, 32 laps ahead of us. What do you see happening in this one?
Well, you've got to believe Casey's going to do the business. But it could be a fight for second. It all depends. There's a lot of riders deep in there. You've got Melandri, who's showing really good on race tyres. De Angelis, but now he's got a broken thumb. Vermeulen, who's very strong. Also, Gintoli's been going good, yeah, and Elias. It depends what they can do on race tyres. I think they'll be up there, not to fight with Rossi for the sort of 2nd, 3rd spot, but I think you'll just see a lot of the riders who you don't see up there in qualifying come through to the top 10, top 8 sort of positions.
Just under 50,000 people packed into the Laguna Seca circuit. We're expecting Bridgestones to rule the roost today. What have Michelin been able to bring out for this one? Colin Edwards will line up at the head of the 3rd row in 7th position. He's had his best season so far in MotoGP. Confirmed he'll be riding in MotoGP as well for another year, as is this man, Valentino Rossi, who'll be with us at least until 2010 in the factory Yamaha squad. Casey Stoner, always the last man to line up on the grid. He seems to like that. He seems to want to have some heat in the brakes, keep some heat in the tyres before things get underway. 32 laps then of the Laguna Seca circuit. That's what lies ahead of them. The prize, victory in the US Grand Prix, and this championship is alive and kicking. Stoner in 3rd at the moment in the championship. Can he make an indentation into that 20-point lead of Valentino Rossi? We'll find out in the next 40 minutes. The lights are on, and out they go for the US Grand Prix. It looks like a decent start from Rossi on 2nd in the grid, also from Stoner just in front of him. But look at Hayden on the inside. Hayden coming through and taking 2nd position. One of the Elite Shape bikes getting very wide out there. Rossi's claimed that 2nd spot back from Nicky Hayden. So it's Stoner, Rossi, Hayden leading us through. One of the Tech 3 bikes up there. That could be James Toseland, I think, in 4th spot. But a good start, solid, wasn't it, from Stoner?
a very good start from Casey. Everybody seems to have got away pretty clean, and a little bit of bumping.
Dovizioso's had a good start. We're on board with Nicky Hayden now, but Dovizioso just tucked in behind him. He started in 9th on the grid and seems to be all the way up into 4th spot now. Lorenzo fighting back quickly. Oh, wow! What a crash, Jorge Lorenzo. High sides. That's an amazing crash from Jorge Lorenzo, and we've seen some big crashes for him this year. And down he goes. He was in 4th position. And the Yamaha garage watches on. He's going to be lucky to be able to walk away from that one. They head up to the corkscrew for the first time. An attack from Rossi. Valentino Rossi goes through and leads in the US Grand Prix. Now, what can he do from this position? What about that crash from Lorenzo, Chaz?
That was extremely vicious. It looked like it went all of a sudden, whether it was some sort of mechanical or whether it was just the cold tyres that we've been talking about, or not being able to get the temperature in the tyres. I'm quite surprised Rossi's made the move so early, so it'll just be interesting to see how this one pans out. I said he'd attack early and try and do what he can in his first couple of laps.
Certainly seems to be doing that. Rossi hits the front, they cross the line for the first time. Rossi leads them from Stoner in 2nd, it's Hayden in 3rd. Dovizioso, a brilliant start from him to get up into 4th position. There's Vermeulen already making a move. Started in 8th, he's up to 5th. Elias in 6th spot, Depunier in 7th. It's a good start from Elias, that, isn't it? From 10th to 6th. Tosland in 8th, Nakano 9th. 10th is Ben Spies and Colin Edwards. He's dropped down a couple of spots already to 11th. Capirossi, Melandri, then it's West who's made up 4 spots from the grid. Alex De Angelis, Jamie hacking and bringing up the rear. Sylvain Guintoli. We've lost Jorge Lorenzo. Let's hope he's not too seriously injured. They head round turn 5 under the bridge. And this left-hander takes them up the hill, up the Rahal straight. It looks as though they're pulling already on Hayden.
Nicky's hanging in there pretty good considering what we've heard about everything tyre-wise for these first couple of laps, so he's doing a good job, him and Dovizioso, but I wouldn't expect it to last too long with Vermeulen behind.
Yep, Hayden in 3rd, Dovizioso in 4th, and Chris Vermeulen, who took 2nd position here last year, already on their tail. So round into turn 11, Valentino Rossi leads from Stoner, and Stoner looks like he's stalking him at the moment, right on his rear. Where's he going to make a move? It's not an easy track to pass, is it?
No, definitely not an easy track to pass, especially on these bikes. So possibly turn 3, the right-hander. Casey seems very strong. Actually takes a different line to people going into there. You see him close right up now. This is turn 2. Get on the gas. Turn 3, you'll see Casey take a slightly tighter line. See him on the inside, couple of feet. It's a difficult place to pass, but Casey seems pretty strong there.
Seems to be capable of doing anything on board that Ducati at the moment. Of course, 3 wins in a row for Casey Stoner. At the moment, he's got quite a talented chap in front of him in Valentino Rossi. That's where we saw Jorge Lorenzo spiral out of the race. A huge high slide from him on the very first lap. That put paid to his challenge here today. Now the gap between Stoner and Hayden just eking up 10th by 10th in every single section. Stoner seems to run really good pace through there, up through turn 6, over the rise now. They line up the corkscrew. They plunge down through there. What's it feel like going down through the corkscrew, Chaz, on a MotoGP bike?
It's awesome, and I love this track. I think most people do. It's so much fun, and particularly on one of these beasts.
Casey Stoner really seems to get the bike picked up early through that complex there, doesn't he, coming down the hill?
Yeah, gets it up, gets it on the fat part of the tyre, find the grip, and away she goes.
Now what we're going to see here as they come into turn 1 across the start-finish line. We're on board with Nicky Hayden, but it looks as though Stoner, who's just set the fastest lap of the race at 1:22.3, he's made the move and he goes into turn 2, so Casey Stoner takes over the front. That didn't last too long for Valentino Rossi. Now what can Stoner do? He's been setting a lightning pace during practice and qualifying, just being able to put down lap after lap in the 121s, and Rossi really has only been able to manage 122s. Rossi's desperate to make something back straight away, isn't he?
The question now is, can Rossi learn something from him? See him attack straight away. Wow.
Rossi goes through and pushes Stoner away. Casey won't like that one bit. Tries to take the pace, doesn't he? Had a bit more drive coming out of that corner, but Rossi stood strong. Stoner in 2nd position once more, round the outside, going up the Rahal straight. Unbelievable stuff from Casey Stoner, and Rossi comes straight back at the corkscrew. We haven't seen action like this as Rossi runs off track and pushes Stoner wide. What amazing stuff here. It's Valentino Rossi and Casey Stoner duking out. They're doing so in the championship, and Stoner almost tries to go around the outside at turn 10. This is unbelievable stuff.
Oh, that was an amazing series of corners there. It looks to me like Rossi doesn't want to give Casey any sort of a lead whatsoever. He knows he's got the pace. But if Rossi gets in front, behind Casey, then can he learn anything behind him and hound him?
They can see Rossi took a tighter line this time, and Stoner goes round the outside. Certainly stronger, isn't he? Coming out of that final corner, going down to turn 2.
He's getting the drive. Casey's looking aggressive as well. I don't think he took too kindly to that move, and I think you're going to see a hot lap here.
I think we might. That was unbelievable, actually. Who said all the drama has gone out of MotoGP? That was a fabulous piece of MotoGP racing, but there's still 27.5 laps remaining in this race. Anything could happen. Stoner leads for Valentino Rossi. Rossi
same move again,
going to make it one more time up turn 5 and goes through, but will Stoner have the drive coming out of it? Rossi just seems to have the edge there, doesn't he?
Everybody knows how well the Yamaha handles, and it looks like Casey's a match for him at the minute.
Great stuff at the front in MotoGP. Valentino Rossi leading the way this time as they go down through the corkscrew from left to right. Flick the bike over and then down through the rainy curve. That's such an elevation change as well, isn't there? Really pushing on the front end as they go down through there.
It's a huge elevation change. You just see Casey chopping a little bit there. I think Rossi knows, like, with Casey's pace, if he lets him get out ahead, then there's a very slim chance that he's going to be able to peg him back. So he's doing what he can to stay in front and just, hanging on by his nails.
Just looking at the battle for third, Nicky Hayden's there, but Vermeulen has made it past Dovizioso, and now he's on Nicky Hayden's rear tyre. Hayden is 3.3 seconds behind Casey Stoner. Valentino Rossi just set the fastest lap of the race, and that's one of his fastest laps of the weekend on race tyres, a 1:22.046 for Valentino Rossi. I'm sure Stoner will just sit for a while, just have a watch of him, see where he can have the edge over Rossi, just study him. That's probably the best way, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe it's the best thing is to sit back. Rossi's obviously not going to surrender this one too easy, so he's giving it a damn good go, and it's going to be a good race by the looks of it.
So, 26.5 laps remaining. This was the move from Valentino Rossi, really throwing it up on the inside in the corkscrew. So lucky to stay on the bike there, wasn't he?
So lucky to stay on the bike and not to collect Casey on the exit of the corkscrew also.
They head up to the corkscrew, no shenanigans this time as they go through there. Down they plunge one more time. Such a fabulous place to watch MotoGP racing. If you do ever get over to Laguna Seca, make sure you find yourself sometime in that corner. Just a bit of a slide step out there from Casey coming down through turn 10. He looked a lot more solid, didn't he, in practice through there?
Just looks like he's spinning up a bit. Maybe he might have gone with something a step harder and just waiting for it to really come in.
Don't look too worried at the moment, do they, in the factory Ducati squad? Rossi leading from Casey Stoner, and Stoner's actually just set the fastest lap of the race, so he's still running a fairly decent pace. Now watch out for Chris Vermeulen, putting all sorts of pressure on Nicky Hayden. Hayden blocked him off through turn 1, but as they go down to turn 2, Vermeulen goes through. Has he got the line to hang on to it? No. Hayden sticks it up there, but can Vermeulen hang on? Always lends to good racing, doesn't it, here at Laguna Seca? Dovizioso's not out of it.
He's doing a good job, very good job, considering it's his first time here as well.
Here he goes, Andrea Dovizioso, right on cue, goes through on Chris Vermeulen and up into 4th position. So Vermeulen was thinking about getting past Hayden, and in the meantime drops down to 5th position. Straight back at him though, the Australian comes through and up into 4th position.
But Dovizioso to be matching, Hayden, basically same bike, same tyres, and how good Nicky is around here. He's doing a fine job.
He's done a fine job all year as Andrea Dovizioso currently stands in 6th position in the championship. Really good job for a rookie on a satellite machine. On board with him now as we go down through the corkscrew, and you can get some sort of feeling of going through there. I'll tell you what, even when you walk around the track, you don't even want to walk over the edge there. It's like a cliff face going down over the corkscrew. So much been said about it over the years, but it is a fabulous, fabulous corner.
Yeah, and the camera never does it absolute justice either. It is actually so steep.
Chris Vermeulen really gets tight, doesn't he, coming through there? He's going to have good drive, isn't he, coming out of that corner now. At the front, Rossi still leads from Casey Stoner. Stoner was getting quicker on that lap, but can't seem to find a way through at the moment. As we said, it is a difficult place to get past. Really is tight this time, isn't he? Through turn 3 they go. Not this time. Into turn 4. This is heading up now We've seen Valentino Rossi make a couple of moves in this next left-hander. He's looked quite strong through there. Nothing from Stoner this time, but he's just scoping things out at the moment. We have expected Stoner to run away with this one. Valentino Rossi said yesterday in the press conference, what plan have you got to beat Stoner? He actually said two things. To me, he said 30-second start is what we need to beat him, or a gun, basically. So we really need to shoot him to get in front of him.
He's probably surprised himself at the moment. He's still leading. It's that 7 laps gone now. He's definitely not surrendering.
You can expect anything though from Valentino
Exactly,
Rossi, can't you?
Never count him out. I think that's why most riders feel quite comfortable with a 6/10 of a second head start that they've had, not head start, but gap that they've had in every practice session. In case he just keeps working, finds a bit, a little bit more in the bike, more in himself, and for when Rossi makes sort of big improvements like this.
So Rossi leading from Casey. Stoner gets very tight once more. Take very different lines, don't they, through turn 1 there.
This for me is where Casey looks pretty menacing on the inside of 3. If he can get the drive out of 2, then he's looking pretty menacing there.
23.5 laps remaining in the US Grand Prix here at Laguna Seca. Rossi leads from Stoner, then it's Vermeulen up into 30. He is past Nicky Hayden now, but he's 8.3 seconds down on this front 2. They're really setting a blistering pace out front. It's almost what we expected, but still, it's great to watch it happen. In 4th position, Nicky Hayden, then it's Dovizioso, Tosden, so a clutch of Michelin riders there with Randy DePuni also. Then back to the Bridgestone of Shinji Nakano in 8th, Marco Melandri 9th, Loris Capirossi in 10th, Elias 11th, Spies in 12th spot, then Colin Edwards down in 13th. It's not what we expect from him at Laguna, but we've talked about the tyres, we know the issues. Jamie Hacking just behind him, riding, of course, a replacement for John Hopkins here this weekend, and in fact, John Hopkins joins us now. Great to see you here this weekend, John. First of all, what about this battle that's going on at the front between Rossi and Stoner? Awesome stuff to watch.
Yeah, right now it's just unbelievable to watch. Big slide there from Casey, but no, it's been tremendous. I mean, Rossi's just screwing up his rhythm right now because Rossi knows that Casey has a faster pace, but no, it's turning out to be a great race.
What about riding at Laguna Seca? It must be such a disappointment for you to miss out because it's a fabulous event, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being from California, this is my home Grand Prix, so it's a shame that I'm not here, but just recuperating, getting better. But I mean, it's a shame. It's a great track, great facility, and the fans are always really good here.
Just having a look at Casey Stoner, he set a new circuit record with a 1:21.8, pulverised it, in fact. 0.7 of a second quicker. John, tell us about your injury at the moment. How's that improving?
Yeah, it's getting a lot better. I mean, had to have the meniscus cartilage in my knee repaired, and then a bolt and or a plate and 4 screws put into my ankle. But I'm expected to be back at Bruno.
Let's hope he's back at Bruno, of course. Former teammate for John Hopkins on board with Christopher Vermeulen now is running in 3rd spot. Someone running wide onto the ground. That looks like Marco Melandri, yeah. Melandri's had some real troubles this year, and more of them coming here at Laguna Seca. He was up in about 9th position, Marco Melandri, and Stoner just having another think about going through at turn 11. Not this time. And Rossi really is making himself as wide as possible around this circuit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're going into turn 5. He's just really strong on the brakes, Rossi. The Yamaha's really getting in there really well.
Not this time either, coming over turn 1. Different line every single time from the pair of them. Really duking it out at the front. Round turn 2, then into turn 3. This is where Chaz has pointed out to us. Casey's very fast, very quick through there. Looks really dangerous. But Rossi's managing to hold on to things. This really has to be his only tactic in this race, isn't it? Because we've all seen how good Casey's been this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every time Casey gets by him, Rossi has an answer. He's just got to shove his way back forward.
They head now up to turn 6, up the hill. Funny corner that one, isn't it? As you make your way up the hill, it's got a little bit of an extra kink, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a blind corner, and I've been playing it a lot on the MotoGP game, but no, it's a weird corner. You definitely have to know where you're going on the track to throw it in there properly.
It's gained a bump as well this year, I think, from some car racing. On the exit of the little dip going up the hill, it's gained one quite big bump on the exit where you just see the bike load up a little bit and just throws an extra spanner in there.
Rossi then leading, tipped it in for turn 11, and both pit back as quickly as possible, get the gas down. Tom Cruise still down in pit lane, still enjoying the racing here. Stoner now having a look again around the outside. Rossi strong enough, hangs on to things. Just under 21 laps remaining in this race. On board now with Casey Stoner. Heads into turn 3. Just not close enough at the moment. There's a long, long way to go in this race.
Vermeulen getting down to a 22.4 there that last lap. He's riding really good.
Chris Vermeulen, he's 10 seconds down, but he's pulling, isn't he, on Nicky Hayden at the moment, pulling a distance on him. We expected that from Vermeulen. It's a shame he hasn't been able to maybe start further up front. Not that he would have had the pace necessarily to stick it out to the front with these two, because they are setting a lightning pace. 10 seconds in third place. That's awesome stuff.
Unbelievable.
After,
yeah, well, the tires.
11 laps.
Yeah, the tires are definitely coming up to temperature. A lot of the people, Michelin and Bridgestone, have been having a difficult time getting the tires up to temperature here. Really hard compound. So, no, this tire should be warmed up, ready to go, and should be getting into the 21s consistently here pretty soon.
On board now with Casey Stoner, went through Rainey, now into turn 10. That's where we saw Alex De Angelis have a nasty crash yesterday, broke his thumb in there as well. De Angelis running down in 16th position, and that's got to be affecting his performance seriously, because he has been running very, very well in recent weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, his form was really, really good in the dry there at Germany, and it's been good here, but yeah, just a misfortunate injury for him.
So, boys, you're the experts. Where's Stoner going to make the move, and when is he going to make the move?
Well, for me, he's either going to do it here in turn 3, but it means he's got to get absolutely perfect drive, got to be very, very close to in turn 2 and get perfect drive out of there, or it's just going to be on going up the hill or down the start-finish straight.
I don't know. I think I could see him coming out, getting a really good drive, coming out of the last turn, coming up over turn 1, and I think he wants to just try and get past him in turn 1 down the front straightaway and try and pull a gap on him before Rossi can shove it up the inside of him going into turn 5.
Like John said, he's definitely he's out there to really wreck Casey's rhythm. He's had this rhythm going the whole weekend, and the longer you can do that for, you just got to keep him at bay. But in saying that, Rossi, I haven't seen him do consistent 21.9s or 22.0s all weekend, so looks like he's found something.
Watching further down the order, Nicky Hayden and Andrea Dovizioso battling it out for 4th place. Hayden, of course, would be desperate to be on the podium. He's won here in 2005 and in 2006, and desperate to be up there. And he's not been on there all season. Just looking a bit further down the order, Tozen in 7th, Nakano tucked right in behind him in 8th. And it looks like Shinya can't find a way past Tozen at the moment.
No, I mean, Shinya's been riding some really good lap times, so
here we go,
down the front straightaway.
Casey Stoner round the outside at turn 1. Just like John Hopkins told us, can he pull enough of a gap before we get to turn 5? He's run it deep, hasn't he? Run it far too wide in there. And Stoner now is going to have to do that work all over again. Rossi back in front. Sigh of relief from the Yamaha garage. But we saw a plan there, didn't we, from Casey Stoner? Now he's got to get back in the groove. Fight his way back towards Valentino Rossi. Now you could see just pushing it a little bit too hot in there. Couldn't bring it quite across.
Yeah, it looks a little bit slick out there. So yeah, he's lost a good chunk of time, but he should be able to make that up, no problem.
So the gap opens up to 0.9 of a second between Rossi and Stoner. Can Stoner fight back? Not even at halfway points in this race. It's such a short lap here. As we said, 3.6 kilometers, 2.243 miles. You can see the gap was at nothing. In fact, Stoner was leading. Now it's at 0.9. They go down through the corkscrew and into Rainey. That's staying pretty much the same, but I'm sure the next couple will really see if anything's changed.
It'll be interesting to see what Rossi's lap time here, because he knew that Casey made a big mistake and is just trying to ride and try and just break Casey's confidence. That's all he's really doing right now.
He's a master tactician, isn't he, Valentino Rossi? We've seen him do it over the years, how he tries and plays with the other riders, like Max Biaggi, like Sete Gibernau in the past, putting as much pressure on from any way he can. With other riders, he sort of did it from behind them. With Casey Stoner, he's taken a different tactic, hasn't he, here? Go out in front of him and, as you say, upset his rhythm.
Definitely.
So the gap as we crossed the start-finish line was down to 0.6, so clearly Stoner's not going to be dropped by Valentino Rossi. I think we'd all be surprised if that were to happen. Through turns 3 and 4, Stoner makes it a little bit tighter. It's turn 5 one more time. Valentino Rossi still looking comfortable, isn't he?
Yeah, really smooth. I mean, these guys definitely don't look like they're riding the pace that they are. Just really in line, riding really well. Even Casey's riding really smooth. And not having to see
just a look further down the order at some of the other riders. Ben Spies and Jamie Hacking have made it through the order. Spies, of course, riding as a wild card. He's on pole for the AMA Superbike race, which takes place later on in the day. Jamie Hacking, of course, riding as your replacement, John, but he's not doing too bad, is he?
10th place, yeah, he's good. He had a little bit difficult time with the qualifying tires yesterday, but no, his race pace is really good, and he's just getting better and better every day.
And he's right on the back of Ben as well, so I'm sure that'll please him.
They're good friends, aren't they, those two? And there's been a lot of talk about the little tete-a-tete between the two of them.
Yeah, I was in Ben's motorhome just before the race, and him and Hacking were in there talking about it. But, Casey Stoner second fastest lap of the race.
1:21.488 from Casey Stoner. Well, if we had any doubts about the sort of pace that he can set, he's just shown us there. But like you said earlier, chap, we haven't seen Rossi run 121s on race tyres before this race, have we?
No, this is the first time that that we've seen him consistently in the high 21s. He's always been hovering around, I think, 22.3, 22.6, that kind of area. But that also the last lap was probably a bit of an example of what Casey can do when he's got a clear track. Hasn't got the blue bike in front of him, but it's just getting by, and that's the hardest thing around here.
Certainly, I think the best race we've seen this year in MotoGP so far. Really the top two in the championship now, with Dani Pedrosa out of this race here. If you haven't heard, Dani Pedrosa, who broke bones in his hand, with his left hand at the Saxon circuit, where he had a nasty crash. Of course, he was leading that race. He decided on Saturday morning that just conditions weren't right for him to race. Some people saying if he didn't have the right tyres and he wasn't at 100%, this isn't the place to be racing, is it, John? As you'll know yourself with your injuries.
Yeah, definitely. This is a physical circuit. You never have any time to rest, and with a hand and a foot injury, definitely make it difficult to get around here for sure.
You can see from the GPS just the distance between Stoner in second position and Hayden, who's in fourth position at the moment. The gap between them 17 seconds. We're just at halfway point of the race. You can see the pace that those two Bridgestones at the front are running, the Ducati and the Yamaha.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Vermeulen's stepping out a little bit, creating a little bit of a gap there over Hayden.
What about Andrea Dovizioso also right on the rear wheel of Nicky Hayden? That's a great performance. So Nicky Hayden knows like the back of his hand.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an unbelievable performance from Dovizioso. First time ever seeing the place. Nicky obviously winning here in the past and always racing here in the AMA. So a great performance out of Dovizioso. He's riding really well and has done really well.
So the gap at the front, 0.1 of a second between Rossi and Stoner. It's very, very tight up there. Meanwhile, this is the battle for fourth spot between Nicky Hayden, number 69, Kentucky rider. Oh, and just steps out of line, doesn't it, on board with Hayden there. Dovizioso stays in tight behind him. Thank goodness we've got some sunshine. You can see the fog in the background. I'm sure that fog's hanging over Monterey at the moment, but luckily we get the sunshine just a bit inland here.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely be a bit cloudy over in Monterey, but no, the clouds lifted just in time for the race.
Nasty here this morning. Fog hanging all about the circuit. It was almost wet, wasn't it? We talk about there's been a wet race at a wet session at every single Grand Prix apart from at Qatar. It almost was in the warm-up this morning, wasn't it? Casey Stoner's very, very close to Valentino Rossi as they cross the line that time. Rossi's actually set his fastest lap of the race, a 1:21.7. Stoner followed it up with a 1:21.6. So at the front they are still going hard at it. Now this is a long way back, but the battle for fourth between Nicky Hayden and Andrea Dovizioso. This is what the American fans would want to have seen for a battle for the first position, wouldn't it, really?
Yeah, definitely. But no, it's good, you know. Dovizioso riding well, Nicky Hayden's riding well. They're both on the Honda, both on the Michelin tires, so it'll be good. Oh, here we go, Ben Spies and Hacking.
Yeah, there's Ben Spies riding as a wild card here this weekend. Just behind him, Jamie Hacking riding as a replacement for John Hopkins, who's with us. And both making a really good account of themselves. They've got another performance to do later on in the afternoon.
We spent.
Really have their work cut out to do well. Of course, Ben Spies leading that AMA Championship, reigning champion, of course, as well.
Just looking at the lap times now, they're pretty comparable when Hacking the last lap 23.4. That'll take him the last lap for this year, and Hayden are doing 24.0, so they're on the pace.
Now with Jamie Hacking. Just watch his right boot. Not using too much rear brake here.
Yeah, I mean, he says he's not using a whole lot of rear brake, but he's just had a difficult time getting the front end sorted out. But he's made a lot of changes for Sunday and race day, and seems to be paying dividends for him.
Back at the front, the battle rages on between Valentino Rossi and Casey Stoner. 13 and a half laps remaining. We head into turn 4 one more time. And this is where we've seen Rossi so strong coming up to turn 5. I thought Stoner was trying to pull a line to be able to get on the inside of him.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, but I mean, Rossi and that Yamaha are just so good on the brakes and so stable getting into that corner. But I reckon we see Casey pull another pass here within a lap or so.
Looking at the tyres there, you can see the rear tyre of Valentino Rossi. They have to work hard around here, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of, I don't know, I mean, it's not the most abrasive surface, but no, I mean, it's you're right, left all the time. I mean, it's a lot of exchanges of corners.
Looks as though they've chosen pretty similar tyres. Stoner just closing up that time. Very different lines through turn 10 from the both of them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Casey really seems to just keep it really tight, whereas Valentino Rossi is just keeping the momentum and red and white, and just a lot more flowing lines. And here we go. We should see Casey make a move here.
On the outside of Valentino Rossi going through turn 1. Sure, they came to touching there almost. Changing paint. Might see a backwards Fiat on the side of Casey Stoner's bike there. Very close through there, and very fast, isn't it? That's turn 1.
Yeah, that's a corner you really don't want to be changing paint on. That's for sure.
Rossi keeping it tight in front. Look at the gap back to third position. 18 seconds the difference. These two in a class of their own at Laguna Seca here this weekend, and really are pushing the pace. Further down the order you can see Hayden and Dovizioso battling for 4th. Then Randy Depunier, a lone rider in 6th. Good ride from him in 6th position on board that satellite Honda with the Michelin tyres also. Then just behind Depunier, James Toseland. He's someone who's been here before, been on the podium in 2004 in World Superbikes behind Chris Vermeulen, who won here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a good ride, but yeah, just kind of struggling to see Edwards. He's still kind of struggling to find his pace right now, and I know he's having a hard time with his getting temperature into his tires and stuff.
Yeah, I had a good chat with Colin actually on Saturday morning. He said, "You found anything out there?" He says, "No, I was looking for a set of Bridgestones, but I couldn't find anything out on the circuit." You know, Colin, he's always got the right answer, hasn't he? So, Casey Stoner, as they cross the line one more time, tries that around the outside effort. And again, Rossi seems very strong through there. Into turn 2. Rossi leads us through. Almost 2/3 distance in this race now. Really getting to a point where Stoner's not going to be able to really pull away, is he, if he gets to the front?
No, I mean, it's, you know, I was expecting a huge runaway from Casey right from the beginning, but Valentino stuck it in there, and he's riding a really good race, and just playing with his confidence.
Stoner now just looking for a way through on Valentino Rossi, stuck with him for this entire race. Again, just a different bits of pace through there as they go up the hill, over the crest. A slight drop, but then the really big drop as they plunge down through the corkscrew. We've seen a change in the battle for 4th position between Andrea Dovizioso and Nicky Hayden. Dovizioso past Nicky Hayden. Dovizioso up into 4th position at the front. No changes as things stand. Rossi still leading from Stoner. It's been like that since the very first lap when Rossi made a very brave move in turn 5.
See Rossi just scoot over just before he gets up the hill. I just think he's aware that Casey's got he's strong up and over this bit. He's good on the brakes in the 1, so he's just having to block there, lap in, lap out.
Looks like he's driving a car out there. How wide is Owen West? Your teammate John struggled, isn't he, this weekend as well? Got problems with his back too.
Yeah, he did the same exact injury that I had during my back and stuff. But no, I mean, he's just been struggling to find his pace all year, and you know, it's difficult for him. He's having a really tough time.
At the front then, 10.5 laps remaining. This is the battle for 4th position we were talking about. Dovizioso having got through.
Depunier catching right up under the rear wheel of Hayden. I just noticed that just now.
See him just in behind. This was the move by Andrea Dovizioso. Clean through there from the Italian. Had a really good impression in MotoGP this season, in 6th position in the championship. And talks of him lining up to move to the factory Honda squad for next year. I'm sure things will start to become a little bit clearer when we get to Brno. people saying they might make a few announcements there. Valentino Rossi's confirmed at Yamaha for the next couple of years. Colin Edwards confirmed at Yamaha for Tech 3 Yamaha for next season as well. I'm sure the market will start to settle down, won't it, when we get to Brno? I'm sure there'll be a few announcements.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a you know, always a little bit of a silly season, and yeah, Brno is always a place.
So, Chaz, you know Casey as well as anyone. What's going through his mind now on his 9.5 laps remaining, still stuck in behind Valentino?
I imagine he's just looking for that way by, but it's not just getting by, but trying to make it stick as well. You know Rossi's going to have a stab straight back at him, so he's probably just, you know, trying to weigh up when he can go for it and trying to make it in a place where he can get that little bit of a gap which doesn't give Rossi a chance to respond within 2 corners.
Surprising there when he came back out on the second lap when he went around and turn 6 up that race. Any chance of doing that there again, or is that now something you wouldn't be able to do this time in the race?
I'm pretty sure up there, up the hill, the front straight, or that turn 3, it's going to be one of those spots. Most probably the front straight, like John said. But if he can get the drive on Rossi up that hill, then that could be a fine spot as well.
Great, close this time. To get the drive out enough to take him past Valentino Rossi, be able to get in front of him. Going into turn through, he's through one more time. So Casey Stoner does make a move on the front straight, as you said. Rossi's going to try and get straight back underneath him, and Stoner's going to keep the bike stuck in there, isn't he? But Rossi sticks it right up underneath him straight away.
Here we go, here's Casey back straight back underneath him. Strong in this section.
Great stuff in turn 3. Stoner goes through, but Rossi's hanging the bike
around the
outside.
Unbelievable. That was a really great riding from Rossi right there.
Brave stuff from these two at the front in MotoGP here at Laguna Seca into turn 5, where we know Rossi is strong, but we've seen yet another attempt to move from Stoner, but Rossi just stuck it back in front of him and really hung in there bravely, didn't he, round the outside?
That was good
That was
riding.
an awesome move.
On board now with Valentino Rossi. We look at Casey Stoner tucked in behind the bubble of his Ducati, over the rise now, and then they'll plunge down through the corkscrew. Well, he's made the move one time. He knows how to get past him. He's how to stay in front of him. He needs to make himself as wide as possible. A couple of different lines as well, going through turn 10 and then through turn 9 and then down into turn 10. And lining up the last corner of the circuit.
Stoner
runs in
he's
wide.
off.
And he's going to run it wide and onto
That's
the gravel.
it,
That
he's
could be the end of the race.
He's
gone down. Casey Stoner has gone down. Well, Stoner in second position has gone down.
Still running.
Is he going to be able to? He's in second position still, of course, still running, but he's going to lose so much time now. That is the end of the American Grand Prix. Valentino Rossi is surely going to win this one, and Rossi, you have to say, has ridden an absolutely inch-perfect race. Casey Stoner's pushing it as hard as he could into turn 11 and just run it too hot. He couldn't get the bike hooked up to turn.
Yeah, it just got a little bit out of shape under the brakes, rear wheel coming up off of the ground, and yeah, it just forced him straight off track.
There's a few bumps there. It looked like it just upset the rear a bit, made it chop, and then start really digging in on the front.
Stoner has crossed the line in second position, and he's got a fairly decent gap over Chris Mullen, 9 seconds back to third place, but that's the end of his challenge for the victory. What a race this has been here at Laguna Seca. For those of you who've missed any of the action earlier on, we've seen the lead chopping and changing since the very first lap, where Valentino Rossi took the lead from Casey Stoner. Stoner has been on Rossi's rear wheel for the entire race, just trying to find a way through. He's made the moves, he's gone past, but just hasn't been able to make them stick. Now, has Stoner caused any damage to his bike? We just have to see now the gap between himself and Vermeulen and see if things are going to be okay for him for the rest of this race. But what can you say about Valentino Rossi's performance here today, Bill?
Oh, just riding like a champion, and that's just unbelievable riding from Rossi. He knew going into this race that Stoner had a way better pace than him, and you know, Rossi just he made himself as wide as possible, and he's just done an unbelievable job here today.
Yeah, that's why he's Valentino Rossi. He hasn't given up, has he?
Not put a single foot wrong here in the American Grand Prix. So when they cross the line, Chris Vermeulen has not going to make any time up on Stoner. It looks as though Stoner saved any damage to the bike. It was just a little drop, really, wasn't it, when he hit the gravel?
Yeah, just a little tip over.
Great battle going on for 4th position as well between Andrea Dovizioso, Nicky Hayden and Randy Depunier, who's come into things as well. So Depunier's come good late on in this race.
Yeah, he's riding well. He's coming up. It's been the same gap over the last couple laps, so we'll be seeing if we can make that gap up to Hayden. But Hayden's staying right in the rear wheel of Dovizioso as well.
It looks like Speeds is finding his feet as well. He's just done his personal best. He's closing in on the toes pretty quickly.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? Just taking 4/10 in that first section of the track, and it's 2.4 seconds between Ben Spies in 9th, Shinya Nakano in 8th place, and just in front of him is James Jones. And here is that moment again. You can just see that rear step out, and then just it plunged, wasn't it? He thought he was running on some hard gravel, and he plunged, didn't he? All of a sudden into the deeper stuff. Down he goes. Disappointment for him, disappointment for Ducati, but he's performed superbly over the last 3 races. You can't take that away from him, and he's had written a fantastic race up to that point also.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite clear. If Casey would have had a clear track, he would have run away with the race. I mean, you know, Valentino did a great job of blocking him and stabbing right back and making the passes, but the pace that Casey's had, I mean, he would have ran it off for sure.
Yeah, I think had he had a bit of fresh air in front of him, then he could have got the gap, but you know, Rossi is a master tactician, and he wasn't going to allow that, and fair play to both of them.
We've seen all sorts of amazing action here in MotoGP, brilliant overtaking, all sorts of dicing for the lead as well. We've seen tactics at play also, 2 of the best riders in the world battling it out at the front also. It's been a brilliant occasion, 5.5 laps remaining, and that's all between Valentino Rossi and another victory in this championship. It would be his 5th win of the season, or 4th win of the season, wouldn't it? After China, France, and Catalonia, of course. Here he is, performed impeccably here today. Full marks to him for his performance. Rossi and Stoner, you know how disappointed he's going to be finishing in 2nd position in this race. Everyone really thought he was in the bag.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he had me pulled. I definitely thought he was going to be running away with it.
Further down the order, so the podium positions really seem sealed up. Chris Vermeulen in 3rd spot, 10 seconds down now on Casey Stoner once more. But a good podium for Chris Vermeulen in the dry conditions, thankfully, on board.
Yeah, that's what he's always saying. You know, he's always, you know, the master of the wet riding, but he's always wanting that dry podium. And he loves Laguna Seca, always rides well here, so well done being here.
The rest of the season now, Chaz, for Casey Stoner. It's get back to business, isn't it, as soon as we get to Brno as well. We saw him win this one, then go on and win in Brno and in Misano last year. Should be able to come back, shouldn't he?
I think so. Everybody saw how strong he was in the last part of the season last year, and by sort of on the record, all them tracks that are coming up in the last part of the year, he's always been strong there on 125s, 250s last year in MotoGP, so long way from over. I think we're going to be in for a really good end to the season.
Colin Edwards riding with that fantastic looking bike there. He's got full stars and stripes motif going on the side of that bike, but unfortunately for him, he's lapping in 14th position.
D'Andre's just been running just speeding up a little bit.
It says it all, doesn't it? Because we know how fast Colin is around here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's been riding really good this season, and the Yamaha's been working good for him, but obviously the tires just aren't working for him once he's allocated.
Alex De Angelis on board with him. Riding a decent race there. He's got a broken thumb. Tries to get on the bike around a circuit like Laguna Seca, 32 laps of it as well. Say, take your hats off to the San Marino riding. Gutsy performance from him, okay, down in 13th position, but nonetheless to push a MotoGP bike around this track, not easy business, as both these guys along with us will testify. Sylvain Guintoli just ahead of him in 12th spot. His teammate Tony Elias has made it up into 10th position. Do you think they've found anything with the Ducati here? Do you think there's been a step forward from these 2 riders?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I mean, Elias has been riding really well, and both of them, all of them have been up the charts. Melandri as well. Melandri's been riding quite a bit better this weekend and doing a lot better lapping, a lot better pace than he has done previous races.
On board with Valentino Rossi, 5-time MotoGP world champion. Crosses the line one more time, and 3 laps remain in this race. It's been a classic race, a classic performance from him. Casey Stoner will be bitterly disappointed, but he'll know he's been in a hard fight, won't he?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
a boxer who knows when they've had a good scrap.
Yeah, knowing Casey as well, he's definitely going to be furious out there. He's going to be really furious. He hates losing, and I think he really hates losing to Valentino, so he's going to be a bit furious out there, I think, after this race.
I'll let you go and talk to him, Chaz.
Yeah, I think I'll stay away for a minute or two.
Just a minute or two after the race, you might have to give him. But he has to take in second position. He's going to take 20 points if all things go okay before the end of the race. So that'll be some recompense. He's losing out 5 points. The gap in the championship between the pair of them will be at 25 points. He stood at 20 before this race. Rossi was on 187. Stoner was on 167. Add 25 to Rossi's and add 20 to Stoner's, and the gap is at 25 at 1 win. How do you see the rest of the season panning out, you two riders?
Right now, I think people got to make some dramatic changes in order for anybody to stop Casey. I mean, going into Bruno, Casey's going to be really strong, and the next couple tracks he's really strong. He won last year.
Like you, Chaz, what do you think is going to happen?
Same sort of thing as John. I think when Casey always seems to get into a stride when it's like Malaysia, Phillip Island, he was very strong there last year. Brno, he was strong, Misano, and so I think, like John said, people need to make some improvements, and maybe they might be able to have something for him. But I still think he's riding, maybe with exception to Rossi in this race, but the best out of anybody out there. He's had the upper hand here all weekend, and he still does have the upper hand, but I just think he's the guy to stop for the rest of the year.
Valentino Rossi, as you say, will take 25-point lead out of this race. Stoner will move up a position in the championship past Danny Pedrosa, who, as we said, hasn't raced here this weekend. Probably a good decision from him to have done that. Didn't want to injure himself anymore. I'm not sure how high he could have ridden up the order as well. Probably the best bet was to stay at home. You can see some real moves going on for Ben Spies further down the order. Was down in 9th position, and now he's got past and up into he's up into 7th. And Nakano's dropped back a couple of positions too. I wonder if Nakano's run off track there, because he's lost out to Elias also. 126 from Nakano on that last lap. Just a couple of riders forcing their way through on him.
Running wide a little bit.
So Valentino Rossi, when he crosses the line now, 1 lap remaining, and he will take his first ever victory here at the Laguna Seca circuit. Just 1 minute 23 between himself and 25 points at the top step of the podium. There's only been 3 circuits that Valentino Rossi hasn't ever won at, and this is one of them. The other one's at Misano, where we've only raced at once, and Indianapolis, where we've never raced before. That just says everything, doesn't it, about Valentino Rossi's dominance over the last few years. Chris Vermeulen in 3rd position. We haven't seen much of him, but a great ride to take the podium on board that Suzuki in the drive.
Yeah, definitely. He, like I said, he really loves his track, really fits his riding style, and great ride by him. Good performance.
Down the order, Andrea Dovizioso in 4th position, still holding off Nicky Hayden. Nicky just doesn't look close enough to be able to have a go at Dovizioso on this last lap, but at least it's a better result than here last year, of course, in a tangle with yourself, John, at that turn 2 on the first lap. And now we go back to the 5-time MotoGP World Champion, leading the World Championship. With this victory, his first at Laguna Seca, he will extend his lead to 25 points. The Yamaha garage saying, just calm down, just bring it home safe. Time to look around as he comes into turn 11. The team are on the wall as well. Valentino Rossi will take victory in the United States Grand Prix. A big old wheelie as he crosses the line. A brilliant performance from the past master, Valentino Rossi. And you can see how much he loves that one.
No, it's a great ride. I don't think he expected that today.
Casey Stoner, shake of the head from him to his team as he crosses the start-finish line, but still a brilliant performance from himself to attack Valentino Rossi on virtually every single lap as well. Just came unstuck with 8 laps remaining. He comes home second, and a great ride from Chris Vermeulen, crosses the line in 3rd place. 2 Aussies on the podium, and the Italian just tops it off.
Dovizioso, great ride coming across there in 4th.
Very good ride.
Dovizioso in 4th. Hayden comes across in 5th position, not where he'll have wanted to be by any stretch of the imagination, but given the circumstances, that's not too bad for him.
Elias.
In 6th, and Elias finds his way past Spies. what a last few laps from Tony Elias
sure
to make it into 7th. Then Speeds and Tozen, I'm sure, would like to see that back.
Yeah.
Further down the order, Nakano in 10th, Hacking in 11th, Ginterly in 12th, De Angelis 13th, Colin Edwards will be disappointed with 14th, Loris Capirossi will take the final points position in 15th, and then Marco Melandri will be in 16th. He crosses the line, but the day is all about Valentino Rossi. He has given out a lesson, hasn't he? He always talks about the young riders coming along and giving him what for, but he's dealt out a bit of a lesson today, hasn't he? In tactics more than anything.
Yeah, definitely. Rossi, just with the mind games, is unbelievable. He's a master at it, for sure.
He said yesterday, what do I need to stop Casey Stoner? Well, I need 30-second head start or a gun. But he's done it all by himself this time, hasn't he? Goes to the corkscrew and kisses the ground in the corkscrew. Fabulous performance from him. The marshal's waving through. There's so many fans who are tucked up in there in the corkscrew. There seems some great action through the race today, especially that with a couple of laps gone between Rossi and Stoner. They were battling for the lead. Really impressive stuff. They'll have loved this race here today. They've got an AMA Superbike race coming on, but I don't think you can top this race here today, can you?
No, those opening laps were unbelievable. I mean, no, like I said, I expected Casey to run away, but Valentino just stuck it right in there and rode tremendously. But,
big shake of the head from Casey Stoner. What do you think he's saying? Has he got anything to complain about? It all looked very clean to me from everything. Obviously, this was the mistake from Casey Stoner, just unable to get the bike hooked up and turn into 11. The rear wheels all over the place, just couldn't get it turned, and then as he hit the deep gravel, down he went. But it was a really fair fight, that wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Completely fair fight, and he's the only one he'll be disappointed in is himself, for sure.
Of course. Randy Depunier, pat on the back for him. His best result of the season in 6th. Repeats his performance on the Kawasaki from last year. Shake of the hand between Rossi and his good friend Loris Capirossi also. You can see Andrea Dovizioso getting the plaudits from his team. Another 4th position finish from him. He's already had one of those at Catalunya and at Qatar early on in the year. He's really impressed everyone in his rookie season in MotoGP. Valentino Rossi then makes his way down through pit lane. Everyone celebrating for him. Really, we can't say how impressed we all are with that performance here today. The fans will have loved that. The sun stayed out, it's just gone back in as well, so just for the time of the MotoGP race, the sun shone down on Valentino Rossi here today. Great scenes here at Laguna Seca. Nicky Hayden, he's got to be disappointed with 5th, hasn't he, John?
Yeah, definitely. With winning in previous years, being qualifying as well as he did, no, I mean, he's going to be upset.
It's probably the best he could have hoped for, though, isn't it, given the conditions?
I'm sure that he was kind of surprised himself that he managed to hang in there. He hung in there really good for the first, opening laps, considering all the problems that they were having. So he probably expected that early in the weekend.
That's why we heard some of the comments we heard in the press conference that really didn't understand why they didn't have the tyres that he asked for, that the team has asked for, that the other teams had requested. Just didn't seem to be on hand for them. Tom Cruise down there in Parc Ferme as well, so gives a shake of the hand to Valentino Rossi. I'm sure he's enjoyed this day out at the races.
Yeah, definitely. Got to meet him out there on the pit.
Yeah.
Was just a huge fan of the sport, knew all about Andrew and everything.
Really? Wow.
Tremendous. Yeah, it was good. It was great. Ben Spies here.
Ben Spies had a great second half of the race, came home eventually in 8th position, but he can take a lot of credit away from his race today, can't he, John?
Yeah, definitely. He had a great race, and now he's got to jump out, change suits, and get on a different bike.
Big deep breath, a few slugs of water as well for him. He'll be back in action in just about an hour's time that he'll be racing in the AMA Superbike. No mean feat. Chris Vermeulen, we saw in 3rd position, and 2 Aussies on the podium, just like in Sachsenring. These guys in these sorts of circuits, certainly, do you think it's something to do, is it something to do with the dirt track background, these left-hand circuits? Or
yeah, I mean, it had a lot to do with the left-hand circuits, but Casey as well. I mean, with Chris Vermeulen, being his teammate last year, he uses a lot of rear brake, and it really suits this track because he just slides the thing into the corner and then just immediately straight off of the rear brake, lifts it up and straight back on the throttle, so it really suits his riding style.
Valentino Rossi wins this race by 13 seconds. We might have actually expected that to be the other way around between Casey Stoner and Valentino Rossi. Just running down the order, you can see Marco Melandri out of the points one more time. All sorts of talk about whether he'll be with us in Brno on board that Ducati. We'll wait and see. Got a 3-week break coming up now before the next round at Brno. Hopefully, John, you'll be back there. Thanks ever so much for joining us today. It's been great to have you along with us, and we hope you get well soon.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been great to be here, and I wish I was racing in front of my home fans, but no, it's good. We'll be back in Brno and you know, fighting the best we can.
Thanks very much for being with us. Just looking down further down the order, those riders who've picked up some points. Jamie Hacking there will be 20th in the World Championship. That will stay the same for the rest of the years. He's ridden as a replacement for John Hopkins. Just Jorge Lorenzo, he obviously had a huge high side, and Chaz, he's going to be lucky to not be injured from that one. Let's hope he isn't. But
he looked like he was grabbing his ankle there. It could be one of them ankles. It looked so similar to the one he had in China, just a straight flip over the top, kicked his legs.
He's had a couple of those. Why is that, do you think?
I'm not sure. That was a difficult one to call without really seeing that about 10 times over, whether it's cold tyre.
But is it cold tyres? Because again, that's what the team was saying, maybe in China, just grabbing a bit too much throttle a little bit too early.
Yeah, possibly. But it was more on the end.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. Front brake there, just peeling it in.
So a lot of front brake trail, isn't there? It's quite surprising that he goes off there. Anyway, Lorenzo crashed out of this one, despite starting from 4th position. Casey Stoner fans there could celebrate 20th, but you can see that Stoner isn't at all happy with this. Might have to keep our distance from him for a bit, Chaz.
Yeah, he looked pretty upset with that one. It was a good fight. There was some tough moves that Rossi put on, and likewise the other way around. I think that's one of the best scraps I've ever seen from them too.
I think that really has been. It was like Catalunya almost last season. That was, and again Aston was another one where we saw them head to head. But it's a good boost for the sport, isn't it? You'll watch it mostly on TV these days, Chaz. But some of the races haven't been the greatest. We know that, don't we? But that's as good as any, surely.
That was a real scrappy, hard fight between them two. Just, you know, both of them won it. Rossi was playing the tactics. Casey had the speed. So it probably, you know, he's probably disappointed because he knows it was his race for the taking. But you got to take your hat off to both of them because they were absolutely on the limit.
Now let's have a look at some of the highlights of this race then. That was Lorenzo going down in turn 5 the first time through. Let's hope he's okay. He went straight to his ankle to hold it. And then Valentino Rossi made the first move of the race. Really brave up at the corkscrew, wasn't it? Pushed it up underneath. This was actually later on in the race, just about turn 2 or 3. They really were battling it hard at the front. The Yamaha garage urging him on, and back in challenge for 3rd position, Nicky Hayden, Chris Vermeulen were going hammer and tongs. Vermeulen actually lost out to Vizioso briefly, but then came back. Vermeulen then hung on to 3rd position, but it was still raging, the battle at the front. Casey Stoner didn't let Valentino Rossi get out of his sights. He wasn't afraid to make a couple of moves either. Chris Vermeulen was comfortable in 3rd. Meanwhile, Andrea Dovizioso made it up into 4th spot. Great ride from him. This was where the race was won and lost. Just about 7 laps remaining. Stoner runs it wide into the deep gravel, and down he went. Lucky to hang on to 2nd position, but that luck was earned. The amount of gap himself and Rossi pushed out the front. A real masterclass in tactics from Valentino Rossi. Stoner joins him in 2nd position on the podium, and Chris Vermeulen rounding out the rostrum places. Delight for Yamaha then. Rossi's first victory in Laguna, and what a day we have had at Laguna Seca. Valentino Rossi then, our race winner, and he will be utterly delighted with that one. There's the trophies that will be handed out to the podium finishers. Fabulous scenes. It's a brilliant place, and it's really taken my breath away, that one, Chaz.
That was them first 10 laps had me on the edge of the seat. That was good.
So, Constructors' Championship, Yamaha leading from Honda, Ducati in 3rd spot. Big old lead for Yamaha. When Rossi didn't perform, there's always been Edwards there, hasn't there, or someone doing pretty well up at the top. The teams, Fiat Yamaha leading the way, Repsol Honda in second, Hayden and Pedrosa. Ducati, well, Casey Stoner's not getting too much help from Marco Melandri in that championship. Tech 3 having a great season as well in fourth spot. The lone rider, Randy Napunia, of course, on LCR Honda this season. Bringing up the rear in the Teams World Championship. See some opera being played in the background. Chaz, thanks very much for joining us also. It's been great having you here. Thanks very much for the time you've put out for us. Shame that yesterday in the race here you couldn't have it all your own way. Forced off really in the second corner, but I'm sure you'll be back here, won't you?
We'll be back, yeah. And no, I've enjoyed being up here. Enjoyed watching MotoGP again and at Laguna. It's always a good scrap, and yeah, hopefully Nick gets well soon, so you can have a decent person doing the commentary.
I know we've really enjoyed having you and John as well here today. Yeah, Nick hopefully will be back with us at the Brno race, but he is completely hoarse, whispering to us as we've been doing the broadcast also. Stoner makes his way, and there is a bit of a wry smile there, isn't there, from Casey Stoner. Chris Vermeulen, friends off the track also, the two Aussies, they do get on quite well also. Eddie Lawson giving him a handshake as they get on, and he'll actually be presenting the trophies here today, the four-time MotoGP World Champion. They just get prepared to go on to the podium. First time for Rossi on top here at Laguna Seca. So the riders make it onto the podium for the celebrations. Valentino Rossi stands on top of the podium. He now leads that World Championship by 25 points from Casey Stoner. 2-1-2 for Rossi, 1-8-7 for Stoner. Pedrosa down to third with 1-7-1, and then a huge gap back to Jorge Lorenzo. Chris Vermeulen up into seventh in the championship. Edwards drops to sixth as Dovizioso moves up a spot as well. Chris Vermeulen then in third position in the US Grand Prix, on the podium yet again here. He's won here in Superbike before and finished second position last year. And meanwhile, the reigning world champion Casey Stoner receives his award from Eddie Lawson. Casey Stoner in second position, but our race winner in the US Grand Prix 2008 is Valentino Rossi. And how he's going to enjoy this one. Returns to winning ways for the first time since Mugello. Jeremy Burgess takes the Constructors' Award for Yamaha.